I'm Dana Denha, and you're watching FYI. Do you ever wonder where the food comes from as you peruse the produce section at your local grocer? Does the label organic really hold any meaning? If you find yourself questioning your fresh food purchases, local farmers may have just the answers you're searching for.
The Ann Arbor Farmers Market is the place to buy fresh local food, but that can be made even easier by taking advantage of a CSA.
Today we actually have our CSA Day, which stands for Community Supported Agriculture. So all of our farms that offer CSAs are here today signing up members. A CSA is a membership basically to a farm. So the customer signs up at the beginning of the season, they pay up front, and each week they get a box of produce from that farmer.
We're offering a lake whitefish package, white perch package, and a lake trout package. And there's various options as far as the amount you get and the frequency.
We have a very unique CSA. It's a fruit CSA. Where most CSAs are vegetables, ours is primarily fruit, maybe 90% fruit and 10% vegetables. Our CSA is a 20-week program that runs from the first week of June.
Joining a CSA has advantages for the farmer and consumer.
With the CSAs, you know directly where it comes from, because we don't buy anything. It's all grown or raised there on our own property, so we have full control of what happens with the food as it's grown.
We're keeping our dollars locally. We're buying our food from local producers, and the more business I think we can do within our own community, it just benefits all segments of our community, not just the consumer and the farmer, but win-win for everybody.
It makes you explore, it pushes your boundaries a little bit, and so you are eating seasonally, you're trying things you might not ever have tried before, and you might really discover something you love.
For a full list of local CSAs, visit a2gov.org/market. The City of Ann Arbor, Downtown Development Authority, and the University of Michigan are working together to keep residents, employees, and visitors of the downtown safe by asking everyone to follow some simple protocols.
Many downtown Ann Arbor merchants and restaurants have enjoyed some relief from the COVID-19 business impacts, due in part to the city's decision to close several streets to vehicle traffic Fridays through Sundays. City officials are reminding patrons that the closures will be cut short from the original August 23rd end date unless masks are worn and a distance of at least 6 feet is maintained. The city's expectations are consistent with other protocols being set in the community. The University of Michigan has announced that all faculty, staff, students, and visitors are being required to wear a face covering everywhere on campus, indoors and outdoors, and inside U of M buses. The Ann Arbor Public Schools also share the city's emphasis and the importance of wearing a mask. Keep everyone safe and your favorite places open and operating. Wear a mask, save a life.
As the pandemic lingers and many school children are obliged to remain home, Michigan early childhood educators and PBS Kids launched a new statewide program called Thrive from Home. Its goal is to help parents ensure their preschoolers are meeting important developmental milestones. Here to tell us more about the importance of the preschool years are Loretta Tobolske-Horn, Early Intervention Supervisor for Washtenaw Intermediate School District, and Michelle Pogliano, Preschool Program Supervisor for Ann Arbor Public Schools. Welcome to the show, ladies.
Thanks for having us.
I would just like to know a little bit about yourselves. What got both of you into sort of that early childhood developmental education aspect?
For me, it was the love of young children, the love of how they develop and learn, just wanting to always be around children and help them. I started as a speech pathologist, and so I've always worked with children with disabilities and children birth to 5.
How long have you been with the Ann Arbor Public Schools?
This will be my 24th year.
Wow, that's amazing. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Loretta, tell us a little bit about yourself and how you ended up with WISD.
Okay, so a little similar to Michelle, I always had a love for young children, and as a actually high school junior, I decided that's the path that I wanted to take and become a teacher. So I started out as a special education teacher, and I served in capacities as a home visitor, as an inclusion teacher, and as a self-contained teacher, and it kind of evolved into the administrative role. I started at Washtenaw ISD about 3 years ago, but this is my 26th year in special education.
Wow. So you guys have both, I mean, a wealth of knowledge, I'm sure, with all of your decades of experience. Can you tell me why the ages of 3 to 5 is so important when we're talking about, you know, the schooling aspect and stuff? Because my daughter was able to go to preschool for maybe about 6 months last year before the pandemic hit. And, you know, I felt like things were going really well for her, but it was definitely a lot about socialization and not necessarily about the education.
Right. I think how your child plays, learns, speaks, acts, and moves offers important clues about your child's development. And developmental milestones are things most children do by a certain age. So making sure that you keep track of those to know that your child is ready and prepared for school is really important, because it sort of sets up the framework for where your child will go as they move on into kindergarten and beyond.
What can we be doing from home right now? Because I think, you know, I think there are preschools, for instance, the preschool my daughter is going to is opening in the fall, but because I'm able to work from home, I don't feel comfortable sending her in the fall. So are there things that I could be doing, or, you know, anyone else that's a caregiver for a young 3 to 5 year old, that we can be doing here in our homes?
Yeah, absolutely. There are plenty of things that can happen in the home during those routines that you're normally doing that can help children. One of the most important things that families can do is really read with their children, read to their children, use a lot of different language and vocabulary to really build their comprehension. The stronger their language skills are, we know that that correlates to higher reading achievement. So in later years, we want to do that. Some other things that, you know, families are already doing are, when you're doing dishes or doing laundry, having children help you sort the socks, sort the silverware. So those are just simple things to kind of build some of those early math skills. Writing is another important thing. We write grocery lists all the time. Let your child write out lists with you. Allowing choices, problem solving, this whole social emotional aspect is really important for families. So, you know, helping your child navigate those challenges and emotions they feel, and letting them generate solutions to problems can really help build their resiliency and ability to resolve conflict. So families have that perfect opportunity. We know that families are a child's first teacher, right? So we want to make sure that those things are happening in the home.
Yeah, it's funny that you mentioned like certain sorts of activities, because just recently my 4-year-old is really interested in folding the laundry. So I'm like, oh, good, I got a laundry helper. But it's also like developing those skills, you know, she's learning. And she asks me, she'll say, how do I fold this right? And then I show her, and then she tries to do it exactly the same way I do it. So it is like, and so I guess you're saying like those little things that maybe you could already be doing and you don't even realize it are really helping them. And from what you're telling me, it's really important to be asking them questions and getting their opinion and asking them what they need.
Absolutely. There's so many things that they learn just from folding laundry. You're talking with them. You can talk about colors and the shape. They're learning to follow directions. They're learning to engage with you. There's just so many great things that happen just in that natural occurrence.
The one thing I guess would be my big concern for her not going to school is because she is an only child, so she's not hanging out with other children really. So her friends are me and my husband. So should we be concerned with that aspect of it, that they're not getting other children their own age to play with?
I think that is one of the hardest things that families of preschoolers are facing, right? Especially this isolation that everyone's feeling. And, you know, again, you're just trying to build those social interactions with you. Using technology is huge. Some of the different programs, I know through the WISD, but also through the different school districts, they have some virtual play groups, right? So you can do some virtual interactions with other children. So it is really hard to navigate that when you are isolated, but at some point we will be able to come back together and children will be able to pick up those skills, and they still will with adults as well.
Stay tuned, and we'll be back shortly with more from Loretta and Michelle and how preschoolers can thrive from home.
Did you know your preschooler is experiencing a wide range of emotions right now, but may have only one or two words to tell you? They may be feeling frustrated, jealous, or embarrassed, but only say they're mad or sad. That's because they don't know how to properly communicate their emotions. You can help give them language to better understand their feelings by drawing faces or using a mirror to teach different emotions every day. Get more tools to help with your preschooler's development at buildupmi.org/thrive.
We're here with Michelle and Loretta, and they've been talking about Thrive from Home. So we just left off on the socialization aspect of preschoolers that they're not getting. But I mean, I think, yeah, like you said, we'll all be able to build those skills up after the fact, And there are times, for instance, my daughter can talk to kids outside from a distance. It's just not happening as often as we'd like it to, in this time. But what are some of maybe the things, like if you feel like you're concerned about your child, like you feel like they're not reaching milestones, what can we do?
Okay, so if you're concerned about your child, I think our biggest philosophy is don't worry, but don't wait. Try to get the services that you need for your child as young as possible. So there's a program called Build Up Michigan, which is for preschoolers 3 to 5. And if you have a concern about your child's development, what you would do is reach out to Washtenaw Intermediate School District if you live in Washtenaw County. And the number is 734-994-8100, extension 3070. And what will happen is our early intervention secretary will walk you through the process of how to make a referral for your child. For Build Up Michigan, it would require a parent to make the phone call and then give consent to pass it on to our local school districts. The ISD is the source that sends it out to the local districts for the next step, which would be evaluation. So once a family has made a request to the local district has 10 days to reach out to them and to schedule an appointment to do an evaluation. And then the family signs a consent to evaluate, and then the process begins. Over the summertime, since school districts aren't open, the process won't start until school is actually in session because Build Up Michigan referrals go and follow the school calendar. So, but there's other things you can do too while you're waiting for that. The ISD has social media pages. We have an Instagram, it's WISD Early Childhood. And then we also have a Facebook page, which is Washtenaw ISD Early Childhood Programs, and you can go there for developmental information. And we also have what Michelle referenced to earlier, play groups that are happening virtually on Fridays. You can find those on those pages with a Zoom link to join us, and that's for birth to 4-year-olds. So that would be a great opportunity to get a little bit of socialization virtually as well. So there's lots of things that you can do while you're waiting for that next step in the process.
Are there anything, like any sort of developmental milestones that you are really noticeable that people sort of are like the first sort of indication that your kid might need a little extra help?
Absolutely. I think families most often notice their language development. So a child might not be talking as much as some of their peers. And so families will notice that. There's another spot on our WISD website where you can do an ages and stages questionnaire. It's completely free. You can go fill that out. That will come to our team, and our team can look at that and determine if maybe there needs to be a little bit more evaluation completed. So that would be another great place to go. So you would go to washtenawisd.org and then go to their early childhood programs, and you'll find the link under there. And then we also have other opportunities just for free preschool, and that is under Washtenaw ISD or washtenaw-preschool.org. So if you want to learn a little bit more about free programs for preschool in Washtenaw County, that would refer to our Head Start programs and our Great Start Readiness programs. That would also be another resource to look into.
Great. Michelle, why don't you tell me a little bit about the fact that Ann Arbor Public Schools does offer Young Fives, and most of us try to be utilizing this after this pandemic is over for our kindergartners?
So Young Fives has been a great program for many families. The window that Ann Arbor Public Schools has is a pretty broad window. So any child born between May 1st and December 1st is eligible for the program. Many families are definitely feeling like, since they may not have been able to finish a preschool year, that would be the most appropriate option for their child. I think families know their children best, and so they're going to make the decision that's best for them and their child. Some children are going to be ready to go to kindergarten, and that's great. And some families are going to feel Young Fives is a better option for them. Elementary schools do a great job guiding parents in understanding the difference in the program so that they know how to make a good decision for their child. So, I think families just need to really research what the difference is and what works for them.
Yeah, definitely. Do you guys see any other additional challenges that parents or caregivers could be facing during this pandemic with kids in this age range?
So some of the things that I know our preschool families have expressed to us has a lot to do with what you talked about, the social emotional piece for their child and the things that they're missing with their peers. That's a really big one. Some other things that we hear a lot about is the struggle to balance if there's older children. So trying to balance their remote learning, parents working, and then also keeping your preschooler engaged. So they're really asking for the fall, as we go back to remote learning, for flexibility, wanting to know that school and remote learning opportunities will be able to be flexible to align with their schedules, because they're trying to balance it all from home as well, because some families aren't able to go back to work in person, so they're working remotely. They have children on various technology devices trying to learn remotely, and then you have a preschooler. So trying to balance that and manage it and wanting some flexibility is definitely an issue.
Before we go, I would just like both of you to kind of give us your expertise, because you both have been working in this field for so long, and just sort of talk about why people with preschool age children like me should thrive from home.
Well, I think Michelle said it nicely earlier. We feel that parents are our children's best teachers, right? So you know your child and family the best, and you can provide those opportunities on a daily basis for your child. I think you just need to trust what you think is right for your child when you're making those decisions. I think there's a lot of pressure socially. What is the right decision? But you know what's the best for your family.
Right. Michelle, and I agree with that. Yeah. I think we have to support families in their decisions. And I think, as you talked about too, that, there are many times you're doing things with your preschoolers and they're learning a multitude of things, and you're hitting a lot of different areas of development and don't even know it. And so that's an opportunity with this program to be able to see, when I'm doing these activities, my child's learning all of these different skills. And children feel safe. They feel comfortable. They feel safe. They're routines that they know, and they're going to learn more within those environments.
Well, I'd like to thank you both for being a guest on FYI.
Thank you.
Build Up Michigan and PBS Kids are airing videos highlighting aspects of early childhood development with recommended at-home activities for families. Visit buildupmi.org/thrive for activities and more information. For more on this and other programs, visit a2gov.org/CTN. Visit youtube.com/CTN Ann Arbor to see all that we have to offer. And remember to like, comment, and share. Thanks for watching, and tune in next time to FYI.
Some of the most important physical and emotional developmental milestones for children happen during the ages 3, 4, and 5. A child not meeting them may need extra support before entering kindergarten. Build Up Michigan can help, because we believe kids can thrive between 3 and 5. If you think your child needs extra help learning and getting ready for kindergarten, visit buildupmi.org.